Hello, football fans. The King Icheboo Sports Network is on the air. We have a very special presentation for you today. The 1930 College Football Championships. There are 8 groups. This is the Group A, the first group championships. And we have a huge surprise. The number 32nd ranked Cornell Big Red were the dominant team of this group. They were 13-1. Second was the number 1 ranked team in the nation, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They were 11-3. Although the top 2 teams have the same number of point differential. Big Red scored 402 points in the 14 games. Notre Dame slightly better defensively. Cornell slightly better offensively. Those are the first 2 first and second place teams in the group. The third and fourth place teams were the Stanford Cardinal, the 17th ranked Cardinal of Stanford, and the 33rd ranked Warriors of Marquette, as they were known until 1994. So we're going to call them that, the Warriors of Marquette. 7-7 records, although Stanford had a much better point differential at 51 plus. Marquette was minus 25. The reason why Stanford was awarded the third place was, first of all, the first tiebreaker is head-to-head, and they split the season series, both winning on their own home field. But Stanford won because of that point differential, 51 plus to minus 25. So we are going to play the semifinals here today. And just because we can, we are playing the semifinal best of 7 games. Best of 7 football. Hey, King Icheboo Sports Network said so, and therefore it will be done. So we are playing the number 1 seed, Cornell. They were number 1 place, first place in the group. They will get the number 1 seed in this tournament, even though they're 32nd rank in the nation. And they will face the 4th seeded Marquette Warriors. So let's get this game underway right from the start. And we'll get the 7 games here. And because this is final score football, it will be quick. And we'll just get this out of the way. So I guess we'll put it here. Just want to see the logos, right? Okay, we'll play first game. Cornell has the home field advantage. So it is EO. E for Marquette, O for Cornell when they're at Cornell, and it's closer, MG, when it's at Marquette. So here's game 1. Rolling for E for Marquette Warriors. And here's the first quarter roll is a 13. 13 is 0. So no points for Marquette in the first quarter. We go to Cornell, the mighty Big Red. How often can you say that in the history of college football? Well, you can say that in 1930. Even though they're very close in real life, the ratings from our Cornell are outstanding. Here's their roll, 46. That's a touchdown for Cornell. They lead it 7-0. We go to the second quarter. Rolling. We have to change pages all the time. Rolling on E for Marquette. Can they score in this quarter? 65, they can score. They tie the game with a touchdown. It's 7-7. If you look at the season for Cornell, they struggled in the first half, and they often are behind in the fourth quarter, but then they get the mighty roll at the end, and they score big points. That's usually their pattern. That's the way they do things at Cornell. So let's go for the second quarter score for the Big Red on O. Let's see if they can score as well. 34. That is 6 points. So at the half, here of game 1, 13-7 Cornell. So let's play a little Cornell Big Red music for us as we play the second half. Here is Marquette. 33 is nothing. So now it's Cornell's turn, rolling on N. Or O. Going for the win here in game one. Oh, big points. 17 points. You can see they're up big, 30-7. This could be a short series, ladies and gentlemen. 34, that is 3 points for Marquette. They make it 30-10, but they will lose game one. Big, 30-10, and we can just add on for Cornell. 13, well, they don't add anything, but they need to. So Cornell leads the series 1-0. Go to game two. Can they do any better? 35, that's 3 points. And we'll stop the music there. Okay, so Cornell rolls for the second quarter on O. This could be, like I said, a short series. Cornell is that good. 34, they score 6. So at the end of the first quarter, 6-3. Sometimes I wish I didn't have to switch pages, but when you have one team dominant over the other, that's what you see. 63, a good roll for Marquette. They score a touchdown. They go up by a score of 10-6. And now we go to the Big Red. 65. They get their big roll here in the second quarter. 17 points. Up 23-10. Now the third quarter. This game looks like it's over already. 64. A nice roll for them. They get 7. 23-17. They need that again. And they need Cornell to not score 2 straight quarters. So that's asking a lot, especially when the only numbers are 12 and 13 to not score for Cornell. And they get 13. It's a little bit of a glimmer of hope for Marquette here in this second game. Now they have to score a touchdown. They have to score big. Let's see what they do. 34 is not big. They score 3. So they don't get there. They still will lose game 2. And it's just all over but the crying here. With just adding on points. 56 is a nice roll. That's 14 points. So Cornell wins big again. They win their first 2 games. They're up 2-0. They hold serve at home, winning game 1 30-10 and game 2 37-20. Now we go to Marquette. Can Marquette take care of business at home? And the good news is we don't have to change pages. We don't have to change pages at all. We'll get rid of the logos. Make it a little bit easier for us. So we'll just have the game up. And we'll have notes changing of pages. So it'll be easier, more streamlined here in the second and third and fourth games. So here is Cornell rolling on M. Can they come back? They need to win. They don't want to lose these 2 games at home and get skunked 4 games straight. 12. Bad roll for Cornell. They score nothing. We go to G. G for Marquette Warriors. 26. They get 3 points. So the score at the end of the first quarter, 3-0 Marquette. We go to the second quarter, 46. 46 is a big Q. That either can be good news or bad news. We go to the big Q chart. What will this mean for Cornell? Let's see. 26. They score 21 points. They get huge roll. 21 points for Cornell, like they needed the help. 21 points. Holy cow. We could see 4 straight. Any glimmer of hope that Marquette had is fading into the mist. Rolling on G. They need a big quarter of their own. 51. Almost. They get 7. But they need a lot more help to go to M. So in the second, we'll save it for the second game. M. 45 for Cornell. That is a touchdown. 7 points. They're up 28-10. And then G For Marquette, 52 is a nice roll. Almost BQ, but 7 points. So after 3 quarters, 28-17, Cornell. Be interesting to see how Cornell, if they can get by Notre Dame or Stanford, see what they can do in the Elite Eight. It'll be interesting because they are a powerhouse. Now, it's, as I said in a previous video, it's fueled by, how should I say this? They played some weaker teams in 1930 and just blew them out. 60-0, things like that, which gave them the 4th highest offense in the nation, which is why they have these excellent offensive ratings. So it's a schedule that they played, and they played it well, which gave them the great ratings. Okay, so we're going for the 4th quarter for Cornell, rolling on M. 33 is 6 points. So they need a huge quarter. They need what happened to Cornell in the 2nd quarter. Marquette does if they want any hope of winning this game. They go into G. They have to roll a 53 for big quarter. 65. They get a touchdown. Give their fans something to cheer about, but they lose game 3. 34-24. And Cornell has a commanding 3-0 lead in this series. And we go to the 4th game of the series. Will it be a sweep? M, 1st quarter, 35 is 6 points for Cornell. Thing doesn't click sometimes, this Excel. I click here, but it doesn't click. There we go. Okay, big rolls. If they want to send it to game 5, they have to have some big rolls. Here's Marquette, 43. That's 6 points. They tied a game 6-6. Now Cornell rolls for the 2nd quarter. Here's their M roll, 23. That is 3 points. Seem a little lackluster here in game 4, but they could be playing possum. G. Cornell needs a big roll. 56 is a nice roll. That's 7 points. So at the half, here in game 4, it's Marquette 13, Cornell 9. Now we can play the music. The music of Marquette. Here we go. So Cornell's rolling on M. They're behind by 4. Which quarter will they get the big roll? 65. It's right here. 14 points for Cornell. This is what they do. They have one huge quarter at least per game. Now let's see if they can answer Marquette on G. 62 is a nice roll. They get a touchdown. So the score, 3 points. The closest game so far. They're looking for a bad roll for Marquette, or for Cornell on M in the 4th quarter. 26. That's 3 points. So if they score a touchdown here, they can win this thing. They need a roll of 51 or higher. Here it is. 36. They don't get it. Uh-oh. We're going to get Cornell's. We might as well, because they're going to win it here. Might as well get Cornell's music, because 36, 6 points. Oh, they tie it. They go into overtime. So we go to the overtime chart. M for Cornell. Now the home team goes first, I believe. Let's pause the music. Well, I don't get too many college football overtimes so far. So I believe what happens is, I don't have it here. The home team goes first. That's the advantage of being the home team. So home team will go, they roll on G. And we go to the overtime chart. So if they score first, they win the game. It's not like modern football where it's sudden death. So they score, they get 51 or higher. The home team will win and will go to game 5. So they don't want to be swept. Marquette fans are screaming they want to roll at least a 51. Here is the roll. 11. 11, they don't score in the first overtime. Now it goes to Cornell on M. If they score 41 or higher, they will win the game and win the series in a sweep. 64. They get a touchdown. No points for 6 points for Cornell. No points for Marquette. And in overtime, Cornell wins. And they win the series 4 straight. And the band celebrates. And so Cornell will advance to the finals of Group A. All right, now we go to the second series. Semifinal Series 2, Stanford and Notre Dame. This could be a closer matchup as we have HN. Unfortunately, we have to swap. But HN in Notre Dame and at Stanford, it's LJ. So only 2 columns apart at Stanford. And at Notre Dame, we have N and H. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns apart. Still, it could be a lot closer. So here is game 1, Stanford at Notre Dame. We're going to play right away. No more preliminaries. Let's see what happens. H for Stanford. Here is the roll in game 1, quarter number 1. 56 is a good roll, and they hit the BQ. So right off the bat, Stanford hits the big quarter chart. Will it be something good or will it be something bad for Stanford? And this could set a tone. We could have a huge upset here. The dream matchup is Notre Dame Cornell. All the fans want it, but will Stanford be a spoiler? Here is the roll, 21. 21 is -5. So they will roll again, -5. For the first quarter. They're H. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They will roll on C. That is a huge, huge detriment to Stanford. Rolling on C for the first quarter. 35. That is scoreless. So instead of big points, dreams of lollipops dancing in their heads, they get nothing. So now we go to this first quarter for Notre Dame. Knute Rockne and Notre Dame. Let's see what they do in the first quarter, the first game of the series. 61. They get their big roll right away. It's 14-0 Fighting Irish. Fighting Irish. I have to make this a little bit bigger so we can see the score. 14-0. So now Stanford goes back to their original H. The big Q hurt them big time because they would have got 7 points. Instead, they get nothing. Here's the roll, 13. Another bad roll for Stanford. They get nothing again. So now we go to Notre Dame's roll on N. Will they capitalize? Here's the roll. They roll a 13, so they get nothing. At the half, the score is 14-0 Notre Dame. Third quarter, Stanford breathed a sigh of relief after that roll. Go to H. Third quarter, 11. They get a safety. That's it. So it's 14-2. Third quarter, the defensive Fighting Irish are playing huge here, inspired from South Bend fans here in game 1. 41 is their roll. They score a touchdown. It is 21-2. Now we go for the fourth quarter. I don't think Stanford, they need a big G, big quarter, and a lot of help from there on if they want to get back in this one. 16, they get nothing. The defense of Notre Dame is holding tough. Only allowing, they didn't even allow. You don't allow. The defense doesn't allow. It's the offense screwed up on a safety. So they really pitched a shutout here today. And now it's just for cosmetic purposes. We roll for Notre Dame's fourth quarter roll, 26. They score another 6 points. And the final score in game 1 is 27-2 for Notre Dame. We go to second game. We roll on H. And Stanford says, hey, it's a new day. All we want is the split. We can do it here today. 24 is their roll. They get more points than they got all of last game. They get a field goal. And now here's Notre Dame rolling on N. They want to keep up what they started in the first game. Rolling on N. 44. They get the big Q. Will that help them or hurt them? It's a double-edged sword for sure. So let's see what the roll on big Q is. 11. It is a huge factor in this game. They roll on A. Holy cow. Notre Dame would never have an A at any time. And they get hurt. The only hope they have is they roll a 62 and get a big Q again. And then they get double big Q. Which means they could get some massive points. Or they could get nothing. Let's see what happens here in the first quarter. Rolling on A is Notre Dame. 62. They hit the big Q. They get double big Q. They could have a huge quarter if they roll 11 or 12 or 65 or 66. They'd have a 28-point quarter. Or they could have 0 if they roll between 25 and 52. Here is the double big Q roll. 11! They scored 28 points in the quarter. Holy cow, that's a huge quarter. 28-3 Notre Dame. They're saying, oh, we've got to save some for Cornell. So we go back to the original ratings now. H. H for Stanford. What a huge blow that was for their split hopes. 34. They get 3 points. They got to do better than that. Now they go. And what I like to call... I'm a Michigan fan, okay? Let me point that out first. But I am an open-minded, and I will admit things when I see them. I call Notre Dame's fight song audio crack. When this thing gets stuck in your head, it never leaves. It is one of the greatest fight songs ever. Audio crack, ladies and gentlemen. Rolling on N for Notre Dame. 63, another huge roll. They are kicking the butts of Stanford 42-6 at the half. Rolling on H. 15, that's not going to do it. 0. I really believe we're going to see the green dream matchup, Cornell and Notre Dame. Although it's still only game 2. But they're up 42-6. 62, another huge roll. 14 points. You're saying, why can't we score like this against Cornell? 56-6. This is the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever seen anything like this in the playoffs? 14, they don't score. What horrible roll Stanford's getting. Inspired by the fight song Audio Crack. 32, only 6. So the final score here in game 2, 62-6. And that will be it. So now, but they say, hey, we get to go home. It's only 2 down. We can win both our games at home, and we can make a series out of this. And they would not be wrong, because with the home field, they are only down 2 columns, J to L. So it really is anybody's ball games here at Stanford. We're rolling for Notre Dame on L. Here in game 3, they're up. They got spanked. What is this? That's 89-8 in the first 2 games at South Bend. Holy cow. So here is Notre Dame rolling on L. We think the score is going to be a little bit closer here at Stanford. 53. They're getting nice rolls though. Holy mackerel. Touchdown Notre Dame. 7-0. Here's Stanford rolling on J. 64 is an excellent roll. They take their first lead. Is it the first lead? Yes, it is. 64 is a 10 points. Nice 10-point quarter for Stanford. That is, in one roll, they scored more than they did in 4 quarters at South Bend. Here's L. 33 for Notre Dame. They score 6 points. They take the lead back temporarily, 13-10. Now we go to J. See what it is at the half. 34. 34 is 6 points on J, so they take the lead back. It's a seesaw battle at the half. The score is Stanford 16, Notre Dame 13. So third quarter here for Notre Dame. 12 is a horrible roll. They get nothing in the third quarter. Could they lose? How could a team that wins 89-8 in 2 games now lose in game 3? But it could happen here. Here's J rolling for Stanford. 55 is a nice roll. It's a touchdown. And the score going to fourth quarter, Stanford leads by 10, 23-13. Well, Cornell got the big sweep. Doesn't look like Notre Dame's going to get a sweep. We have a series here. This reminds me of the 84 National League Championship Series. If you remember game 1, the Cubs got like, what was it, 14-1 or something? 13-1? And then they won just barely in game 2, but then we don't want to talk about what happened at San Diego. We will just put that out of our minds, and we'll go on to rolling football. Here's the fourth quarter. Notre Dame needs one of these. Well, they need at least a 55 to tie the game. 13. They say, hey, we have these great rolls in South Bend, but we got nothing. Oh, I'm being generous here. 13 is nothing. So it's 23-13, and Stanford will win game 3. 14. They didn't need to score. And they had mercy on their visitors, unlike Notre Dame did. So it shows that Stanford can be kind-hearted, as they don't roll on top of Notre Dame when they're down. And it's 23-13. So the series is 2-1. Now we're going to go to game 4. Notre Dame looks to bounce back here in game 4. Here's the roll. First quarter, 53. That's a nice roll. They get a touchdown. So we go to J. Stanford going to answer. They want to answer. 13. That's a horrible roll. They had nothing. So we go to, well, we might as well bring up the music. So we don't know if we're coming back to Stanford. So we're going to play. We played this before. All right now. 21 for Notre Dame. They get 3 points on L. It's 10-0. Now let's see if the band can inspire Stanford. 11. They get a safety. That's not real inspiration. 10-2. This reminds me of game 1. Come on, your band is playing their hearts out. You got to do better than that, Stanford. 54 is a nice roll. It's a touchdown. Notre Dame, they're up. They're up 17-2. Stanford's going to have to wake up right now. All right now. 26 is not exactly waking up. It's a 3-point field goal. 17-5. Here's the last roll for Notre Dame. 45. 7 points. Stanford needs one of those big rolls here. They're down 24-5. They get skunked in the fourth quarter, and they lose it 24-5. 3-1. We go back to Notre Dame, and we know what happened last time at Notre Dame. Stanford, will they show up? That's the question we have here today. Will they show up for game 5? Hey, you gotta give kudos to the band. They're playing their hearts out, even though the team's not. Okay, here we go. Stanford game 5, 3-1 Notre Dame for the right to face the Big Red of Cornell in the group finals. Here we go. 35 for Stanford on H. That is 3 points. If they would have got one more, they would have 6 points. And people are texting me. And we go to N. Let me guess. Something's blowing up. I don't know. Someone's maybe just saying hi. I could be positive, you know. I don't always think about the negative. People aren't just trying to give me bad news all the time, right? They sometimes just want to say hi because they like me, right? Yeah. All right. We all live in a fantasy world sometimes, don't we? Here we go. Rolling on in. Notre Dame, 55. Can't drive, 55. That scores 10 points. They're up 10-3. They just couldn't roll in that one game. Otherwise, they would have had a sweep. But there looks good for them here in Game 5. Rolling on H for Stanford. 36. They get 6 points. So they come within 1 point. And they need some help. We've had a lot of 13s here, so that's what Stanford's hoping for now. They want to be only down by 1 at the half. 53 is not a 13. It's another 10 points. So the score at halftime, 20-9 Notre Dame. Going back to H. They need some major rolls. 15 is not a major roll. It is 0. Holy cow. We're going to get the dream matchup, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going on a limb. Here's the roll for Notre Dame. 41. It's a 7-point. Even if they get a big quarter, they still might not have enough. Here is the fourth quarter. This is it for Stanford. Rolling on H. 32 is only 3 points. And the last one, it's all over but the crying. But we will roll anyway because you play to the end. You play till the scoreboard says 0. 56. Nice rolls for Notre Dame. So that is it. We have had our 2 semifinal series. Cornell Big Red wins in 4 straight over Marquette Warriors. And Notre Dame takes 5 games to beat Stanford. We'll catch you next time for the group finals. The mighty Cornell Big Red versus the mighty #1 ranked in the nation Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It should be a barn burner. Tune in next time, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, this is the King Icheboo Sports Network signing off. Goodbye, everybody.